informed, intelligent in the black.
That stage where I don't want to be going through the motions anymore. I want to be doing. I want to be growing. I want to be feeling. This is the time in my life where I should have recognized what joy was in my youth in some stage and be building more of that as I get older. Joy should be the thing that I'm chasing and holding on to. Now it's like I'm searching for it, trying to find it more than anything else. And it's this morning, it really hit me kind of hard. Like, damn, bro, you just going through it. And I think the thing that we always talk about is when you are the one that is always responsible for doing all of the things, it is so easy to get stuck in that cycle of doing the things all the time. You know, putting yourself on the back burner and just finding those little small things that you cling to that give you some joy, whether it's reading a comic, smoking a cigar, that small thing that you can retreat to when the battle of the day has subsided. You know the war tomorrow is going on.
You saying when you do those things now, you still not finding any peace in it?
I'm finding peace, but it's not. It's not sustainable, right? It's not something that's helping me navigate the battle the next day, right? It's just giving me that small reprieve. And literally, I'm thinking of an old grizzly, soldier that just got finished fighting this big battle, and he's sitting down having a cup of coffee and smoking a cigarette, just thinking about how he can get himself ready because he knows the war is coming tomorrow. And he's talking to that new soldier who's coming in, who's all excited that they just won the battle. And he's like, nah, bruh, you just won the battle, but this is a long war. This enemy is tenacious. This enemy knows no bounds, has abundant resources. You need to, change your socks, change your drawers, load up, get your ammo ready, because tomorrow morning is back at it again. And I have that same mentality right now. And it's like, damn, I want to move past that. And I don't know if it's possible. I don't have the hope or the optimism that option is something that can take place, or this is what life is going to be.
I will say that I'm sorry that you are in that position. I think that's the least I can say. And I'm not saying it out of pity to you.
Oh, no, I don't take it that way.
Yeah. I know that you are a strong dude. So I know it's not a matter of pity, but life, like you said, I mean, the war, using the war analogy, life is a battle of attrition, right? It's like you're just going to continue to throw everything you have until you don't have anything else, because otherwise would ultimately mean failure, right? But at the same time, I'm going to ask you, as my brother that has helped me immensely going through some bullshit, is to take those moments and don't look at them as like the escape necessarily. It's just an opportunity to recharge, because right now, I mean, it's hard to see the end of the battle when you're sitting right in the motherfucker.
Yeah.
It's hard to see the end of it. It's hard to see the peace. It's hard to see all the policy changes. It's hard to see all the things that you've been fighting for when you're still in it, fighting it. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, don't beat yourself. I'm going to ask you not to beat yourself up, because you're still in it at the moment. I don't know where the end of the tunnel is, but of course I recognize that you're not going to see the changes you're looking for until everything is said and done. You can put your weapon down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think, and I absolutely agree with you. And that would be the advice that I would give to someone else who is in this similar space. I think the thing that I am struggling with the most is that I have little people that I'm responsible for, right? Like, I have little people that those moments where I do recharge, those moments sometimes are interrupted. Sometimes those moments don't come because one of those little people needs a hug, a snack, a login. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, I want to be able to find a space and get to a space where the laughter and the joy and the smiles are more dominant than the stoic,
I dig
the
it.
patchwork. You know what I mean? I want them to be able to look and say, damn, my dad was a joyous dude. He laughed and was, all those things, more than saying, yo, he would get it done. Yeah, yo, if you needed the thing, he was there. He was that. I want him to be able to have that. And I don't know if that's, a fairy tale or something that I am trying to put, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm wrestling with that component. Is that logical? Is that the way life is set up? Right? When I think of my dad, I don't think of my dad as a jovial, laughing dude, but I think of him at times where he had a dope sense of humor. He is a quick-witted cat.
Oh, okay. Let me ask you a question, because you said something that's very, very not only interesting, it's almost spot on for everybody every man that I know. I know men that, well, let me say this. I know men that have familial responsibilities, meaning that they are either a father, a husband, they have some level of responsibility to themselves, and people that will hold them accountable if they fail at some of these responsibilities. Okay, I want to make sure I'm very clear about that. Every man that I know that's in that situation is not a jovial, happy-go-lucky type of guy.
Yeah.
I don't know not one. And I'm thinking to myself, sometimes you hear like maybe somebody passes away, or they're recounting or talking about another individual, and you hear, oh yeah, he was quick to laugh, he was a very happy guy. And maybe my perception or imagery of what happiness looks like doesn't match up, because no man that I know,
no black man that I know specifically,
black man that I know fits in that mode. Yeah, you find moments where he's like, hey, you can joke with somebody, but for the most part, we take this life as a life of service. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's I don't know, bro. It's just extremely disheartening, bro. I had an opportunity this past week. One of my little brothers came down from Atlanta. He's a teacher at Clark Atlanta and Morehouse. And he came down because he does races and stuff like that. So he came down for the holiday period, and he's a Q. So I was like, bro, you're downtown. You came to run. You in the city. You didn't even tell me you was around. Let's go meet up. He's like, oh, I'm at Buffalo Wild Wings. Just come over and come hang out with us. So I meet up with him, and it's a table of maybe 8, 9 dudes. All of them are Qs except for me. And we just introducing ourselves and, getting familiar with one another or whatever. And then the conversation turns into being men of a certain age and what the expectations are and what nobody told you life was going to be like as you got older or as you became an older black man, that your responsibilities and the expectations are going to change. And then on top of that, you're looking at, for lack of a better description, you're looking at the examples in your life, your parents, so on, and you're looking at them and you're watching them deteriorate.
Yeah.
And it's a constant reminder, that this ride is going to be over.
At one point. Yeah.
This ride is going to be over, and nobody along the way explained to you, not only do you have all of this responsibility, not only are people going to consistently and always hold you accountable, not only are you going to have the weight of the world on your back, but at the end of the day, this ride is going to be over, and you might not have had no motherfucking reprieve, no fun whatsoever.
Yeah. And I don't want to be the motherfucker that they say at the funeral, well, he finally can rest.
Nigga.
Almost
verbatim, that is what I said. Almost verbatim, that is what I said.
Or bro. Even worse, 3 people in a row get up there and say, he worked so hard. You know what I'm saying? And that's all they can say about you. He worked so
and
hard.
we've talked about this before, the John Henryism of black male life, right? Say what you want about the John Henry story.
Life
But
to
the
be
John
lived.
Henryism of black male life is we're constantly racing and challenging the machine, and that machine is a passenger train of responsibility. It's the passenger train of navigating black life. It's the passenger train of dealing with black masculinity. You think of every challenge that black men are facing and wrestling with, it's on that passenger train that we are constantly fighting for. And even the women in our lives.
To go back to what you
Go
said, I think one of the painful parts about it, I'm gonna let you finish your thought. One of the painful parts about it is that passenger train that you're talking about, the only stops that it makes is to pick up more passengers and for you to get off and fight.
Yeah.
So that's all you're doing along the way.
Bro, it doesn't make a stop for you to rest. It doesn't make a stop for you to collect your thoughts. It doesn't stop, man. It doesn't stop to say, I'm proud of you for what you are doing.
I'm not sure what other group, is more prevented, more repressed from the idea of being fully at rest than us. We're constantly in motion, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Constantly in motion.
Yeah,
constantly in motion. Yeah. Constantly. It's a struggle. It's a struggle just to find full rest. Full, complete rest. It's a struggle.
Can I ask you a quick question then, man? What do you do when you feel like you're on this train that we've just described? You're picking up passengers along the way, but as you're picking up passengers along the way, you're fighting to protect those passengers, right? I want to make sure you hear my analogy. You're picking up passengers along the way, and you're fighting to protect those passengers. And you get back on the train to get to the next stop, and people treat you as though they don't recognize, dare I say, respect the work that you're doing, not only to keep the train moving, but to make sure that everybody's at peace and is safe and has the things that they need. How do you manage that? Because I find myself honestly in a position like that now, and I will be 100% with you. My dad was one of those people, or is one of those people, and he allowed the image, perception, reverence of respect to almost dictate how he acted. So when I'm feeling this lack of respect for the fight that I'm putting forward, for all of the effort, for the spirit, everything that I'm doing, I try not to replicate what my dad did because I see how detrimental that was. But at the same time, not getting that is tearing me to shreds. Like I want to burn everything down and just put the arms down and just be like, y'all can run this train. Y'all can run this train. I don't give a damn anymore.
Yeah. Or the other part that I think what I've begun to do is because my dad was similar, right? Is it helped me now in my older age to see his humanity, to be able to have a little bit more grace for how fucked up a person he was. Like, yeah, you weren't the person that I needed you to be, but all this time I was holding you accountable, thinking and not realizing that the machine that you were navigating, that I'm doing the same thing. So now I can actually be like, yo, okay, yeah, buddy was wild. Buddy was doing some shit that he shouldn't have been doing. Yet, now that I have a more understanding, the deeper context, I can be a little bit more gracious to his memory now. I can be a little bit more fair in my assessment and my analysis of who he is now that I understand the train that he was fighting and he was trying to ride.
Okay, I'm gonna ask both of you a question. Given what you know now, as a man, as a husband, as a father, given the shortcomings that you recognize now that your fathers may have had, if you had an opportunity to talk to your dads again, what would you discuss with him?
I mean, I know what I would, and I realize now that, it was those moments when I saw the contrast between my father and myself, that was where evolution was perhaps taking place. The point where you become unlike, I mean, that may not better, but unlike the past. You're actually opening a new chapter emotionally because you recognize that, no, this is not how I want to be. And there are definitely some flaws in my father I would have loved to have addressed with him, but I'm not sure if he would have been capable of really confronting them, to be honest. I don't know if he would be capable of confronting the flaws that I saw. And recognizing that, I have to be willing to confront my own, which has been, a slow process, I mean, but it's ongoing, it is taking place. I want to deal with myself better than my father did.
Say that one more time, Krush, please.
I'm going to deal with myself better than my father did.
This is one of the reasons I'm going to let L wrap it up and tell us what he would discuss with his dad. But this is one of the reasons why I have a love-hate relationship talking to the two of you. Because we start having these conversations, bro, and I tell you, sometimes it hits me in the moment.
Right.
And I just be, it fucking hits me, bro. It fucking hits me. Go ahead, L.
I'm going to keep it a buck, man. I think if I could see my dad right now, I would give him the hug that I needed him to give me as a child. Right? That'd be the first thing. And I would say, I am sorry. And my sorry would be full of me saying, I understand. I understand so much better now as a father at this stage in my life of what you were dealing with. Throw away all the, your battles with substance
all the
abuse,
other stuff. Yep.
all the other stuff. As a man, my dog, I am sorry that it took me so long to get to this place of understanding. Because my G, I understand what you were doing, and I would just hold him and hug him, and we would just share tears because I'm at that space in my life where I had a deeper understanding of manhood, fatherhood, all of the hoods that come together to make us who we is and all the responsibilities. Like, I would simply say, I am sorry and I understand. That's it.
All right. Like I said, man, I was hanging with some bros this week, and it was an interesting outing. Not only did I get an opportunity, like I said, I'm going through it right now in the house. So I typically don't go out. You people know me, bro. Like, I interact with people well, but I'm not a people person, bro. I try to stay to myself and stay in my goddamn house. But because of the difficulties I'm finding on the home front, I went out and went to another cigar lounge, an upscale cigar lounge, and everyone was dressed to the nines, bro. And I don't want to, and I want, me, if I'm going to go out, I want to be different. Whether I have whether I have my sneakers that stand out or whatever the case is, I want to be different. So I was talking to a friend of mine who's a tailor, and I said, "What can I do to be different?" Everyone came in there with a blazer, jacket, button up, whatever. And he said, "What you could do to be different is to wear an ascot. It's just an accessory that would make you stand out from everybody else."
I swear I'm gonna slap the shit
An ascot.
I promise you.
So
I promise you.
Listen. So
the only thing worse would be a cummerbund.
Listen. So he's telling me this.
Listen.
Listen. So he's telling me this, and he's sending me pictures of different fits with an ascot. I'm like, damn, that is fit. That's some cool shit. So I told a whole girl about it. Like,
this shit is so pretentious.
Listen, so I told a whole girl about it. I was like, yeah, I'm putting this together, blah, blah, blah. And she said, You wearing an ascot? Nigga, that's gay.
Oh, see, that listen.
Ooh.
Hold on.
Ooh.
Hold on.
And the funniest part was she was like,
when
she
the
said,
women say that,
she said, listen,
when
she
the
said,
women
listen,
say
friend.
that,
She said, listen, friend, I'm not saying that you can't wear an ascot. I'm just saying that you wearing an ascot might not be the move that you think it is.
see, when women say that, they're not saying that in like they saying it in a literal sense, not in a like derogatory sense, in a literal sense. When they
We
say
are
that.
never getting picked up for sponsorship. Like,
like I don't know how we're ever gonna get. I don't know how we're ever gonna get our prize picks, man. We're never getting the prize picks.
It's that these niggas is toxic. We can't bring them on the
show. We piss off white women
never
every episode. White women are the target.
Women,
now we have slid into offending the LGBTQ plus A community.
Bruh.
I swear, if I
didn't say I said
ascot, I am hitting you with the backhand.
But
I
the
mean,
thing is, I can't remember. Hold
up. You gonna put baby powder on the show first?
On some real shit.
Yes.
When was the last black gay man you see with an ascot?
Say that again.
Roland Martin.
That's why we're not going to get sponsorship, because you be attacking motherfuckers like you forget that this goes on the internet. There's like there's no fence around what we post.
The complete lack of hesitation is scary.
That's it. Thank you, Krush.
That was the first name on his mind in this conversation.
He didn't even hesitate.
As soon as he asked Scott, he was like
Roland Martin. And there's probably other non-gay people that we know that we're ascots.
I don't know any gay men, any queer men who wear ascots.
I'm not aware.
I'm serious. I don't know any queer men who wear ascots.
The only ascots I've seen I've only seen ascots on yachts. I've seen ascots on yachts. That's about feminine. It. The only time I've seen an ascot, there's a yacht and a swordfish in the vicinity.
Listen,
and maybe some Perrier.
Swordfish.
Some Perrier. Maybe some Perrier in the immediate vicinity. But that's the only time I've ever seen an ascot.
Why we're not getting sponsorship? This nigga, I swear to God. You know what? You know what I'm going to do just to make sure that I'm not tripping. Okay, I'm going to, and I know this sounds very cliche, very stereotypical. I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask some of my gay homies,
brother.
I am. And you know what? I'm not asking them specifically because they are queer, but
yes, you are.
No. Listen to what I'm saying. Not specific. Okay, I apologize. Not solely because they are queer, because we've made that connection. I'm also asking them because
you made that connection.
No. You literally just said that we basically are going to get fucking canceled and no sponsorship because of the gay. Anyway, so I'm not solely asking them because they're queer, but also because the ones that I know, and it sounds very stereotyping, but they're also very fashion forward and fashion sensible. So I'm going to ask them, is an ascot passé? Should I not even think about wearing it? Even if I don't think you should ask. I don't think you should ask. If I do wear an ascot, what do I coordinate it with? Is it supposed to complement my shirt, or does it complement my pocket square?
Yeah, but these are the questions that I need answers. What if this queer brother has what if this queer brother has an affinity for you?
No, none of them do, and I make
no. Hold on. Talk about. It is like the dude who has the good friend who's a woman. Let's now you know where I'm headed. So let's not make it seem as if they cannot be your friend and not want you to, okay, all right. Okay. Fair enough. You know you can be opening up the door for some other uninvited compliments and intentions by asking them that. Why don't you just ask your wife?
I told you there is a what do you want to call it?
I have no idea.
We are at the UN and neither one of us are speaking right now. So
you need Switzerland to come through. Okay. You need Switzerland. My G, right. my rates, brother. Let me tell you.
My dude is living the Snoopy life right now.
Listen,
bruh.
Listen. This is
With no wood
by the way,
bruh.
ladies and gentlemen,
And all I'm hearing is wah 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 wah. And I'm like, whatever, nigga.
I don't have a problem with offending the white women. I don't have a problem with, sparring with the LGBTQ community. But there is a group of people that I am not interested in sparring with, and that would be the wives. So whatever you say going forward is on you, my G. I'm going to fade to the black.
Because, wives are very similar to the Infinity Stones in that they control time, space, reality,
oxygen,
soul. Okay,
I'm good. And, so if you want to transition out of this topic,
they control all these aspects. And when they bring when they merge and decide to look at you, nigga, reality changes.
Bro.
Listen, I told
they
you.
fought like Voltron on this joint, bro.
I didn't say that any fingers were snapped. I literally just said we are both. We are at the UN and we're expected to talk, but there needs to be a mediator involved at some point.
All right. So which one of y'all is the United States? Which one of y'all is the US?
I will be respectful and say neither one of us are the United States.
Okay, good. All right, good. All right.
We are just in disagreement. We are not trying to destroy one another. There's quite a difference.
In other words, there are two countries in Africa.
Thank you, because I was concerned. Like, who's imperialist here?
Neither one of us is trying to pillage the other person's oil, my guy. We're not trying to destroy them of resources, buddy.
Oh, okay.
All right. One of us is on that type of shit. Nah. It is what it is, but it ain't got that goddamn bad.
Oh, shit. Nope. I'm like, Hammer, can't touch this. Nope. All right. Let's talk about some devious white women shit. Okay.
Which one?
This nigga.
Hey, listen.
Okay, let me ask you a question before we move on to the next one as we're talking about wives.
Is that a Anita Baker hoodie that you have on?
Yes, sir.
Man,
yes,
look.
Sir. I love Anita Baker. I told you, but after I met her that time,
this dude said he was worried about ascots making him look gay. I don't know.
Look, Anita Baker is a lesson learned in reputation, bro.
You said what?
She's a lesson learned in reputation.
Bro, people still love Anita, but I'm going to tell you that whole thing between her and Babyface really put her on Front Street.
Bro, the fans know it, but the fans love Anita, but they also now they know Anita.
Yeah.
And they kind of just roll with it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, like, ugh.
Yeah. All right. So I have an acquaintance of mine that posed a question in a group chat. And can we be serious, Eldon? Because you never.
Oh no, I was just ready.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I was just ready.
Okay.
I don't know where you be heading with these group chats.
God damn.
If we just go back in history, some of the places that we ended up with white women in dumpsters.
I knew you were going to say that.
Oh my god. Oh,
bro,
I knew your
bodybuilding can't.
You're like gallivanting behind Popeye's dumpsters.
Callbacks. We done went to some dark place with your group chat.
Whatever, nigga. So he's been married. He's been married going on about 7 years at this point. And he dated his wife for maybe a year or two prior to them getting married.
Oh, he just got started. He ain't get that 9-year mark yet.
Yeah, that decade mark makes things look a little bit different, but yeah. So he's been with her for a minute, but he said probably after the second year of them being married, like her sexual energy went down. And he said that according to him, he has been trying all of the things to help her be interested sexually or to engage sexually. And none of it has been working. And he said that this experience started that he could recognize about 2 or so years after they had gotten married. And progressively since then, her sexual energy has just declined and declined and declined. Now, there is maybe like a 3 or 4 year age difference between the two of them. So it's not really like a drastic thing. And
Older or younger? Is she?
Oh, he's older than she is. He's older than she is.
Okay.
He's 40. He's 49. He's 49.
And she's in her 30s?
No,
And
he's
she didn't
49.
know that?
No, I said no. He's
She's in her
49.
mid-40s.
She's
Okay,
like
so
44,
then she's in
yeah.
her 40s. Okay, gotcha.
She's also in her 40s. And he was like, progressively, that the energy has just been going down and down and down. He's been doing all the things, listening to all the things, trying to find a way, including attempting to talk to her and just find out what things she would like to see or needs to make this more enjoyable. And he said, yet and still, there hasn't really been the response that he would like. The question came up, or he jokingly said, "Man, I'm about to hit these streets." To which all of us were like, "Hey, yo, like, calm down. We get it, but don't jump the ship just yet." So the question comes, when you feel like you have been doing all of the things, have been trying to acclimate yourself to your partner, have been trying to understand what it takes to make that part of your relationship more pleasurable. And at least according to him, he has discussed with his wife the high level of importance, and I put that in quotations intentionally, the high level of importance that sex plays in their relationship, and you're not getting the results that you would want. What should you do after that? Do you just sit in a dry, sexless marriage, or do you start thinking about hitting the streets?
I think hitting the streets is a bad idea either way. Like I think hitting the streets when you are in a committed monogamous relationship, regardless of ring or no ring, if you are in a committed monogamous relationship and things get rocky, no matter if it's sexual, mental, emotional, you going outside of that committed space that you and her have agreed on is never an option. That should always be off the table. That's number one. I think that is wildly disrespectful, and there is no coming back from that, because that is an ultimate betrayal of trust. And just even with my own views on what cheating is and what adultery is, it is the robbing of choice that is the problem in there, right? So I think when you have these conversations and you're talking to your partner about these things, my advice would be, begin to have conversations about potential other outlets, right? And you phrase it that way. You don't phrase it and say, hey, I want to go sleep with other people. I want us to open up. You say outlets, because now you're giving her an opportunity to engage in the discussion, her to give her option and her thoughts. And you can get to a place of understanding of maybe why is she feeling this way? I think that's the bigger part, right? Whenever we have the conversations about the intimacy part and why one is more of this and one is not doing that, why is one engaging and or initiating and the other one is, there's reasons for this. And sometimes people don't know how to articulate those reasons because it's just been a natural thing of who they are. Just you got to begin to have the conversations. But number one, take that going to the street stuff off the table, man. And it can't be phrased as just you getting inside of her and getting off, right? It has to be you phrasing it and talking to her as a connection, as intimacy. Like it's not just
what you're saying. There's also one of the things that he made sure that he specified, and I commend him wholeheartedly for at least having that attempt, right? Having the attempt to have the conversation. One of the things he said was, initially he thought that it was possibly in his approach, right? And you approach somebody a certain way, they're going to respond a certain way. So he said he started trying to approach this from a standpoint of complete and total intimacy between him and his wife, not just, we're both just going to get pleasure and it be it. So At least according to him, once again, at least according to him,
Sure.
he's been trying to have the conversations to try and lead or break that wall down. So,
Elgin alluded to already, but I would definitely would want to bring the focus around helping the wife articulate her perspectives on everything in this situation. It's who she is. I mean, great, he can only speak from his perspective of how he sees his wife, but who she is would have to be, the mystery to be solved between that. Things, different things affect people over time, and those 7 years tells me that she definitely loves this man. She loves being with him. If there was a bigger issue, this probably would have fallen apart 5 years ago. But clearly, there's something. There are other things. There are other factors, elements, aspects of dynamics of their relationship that keep her bound and committed to him. In every apparent way, but this one to him. But articulating her perspectives on this, on what intimacy is, and there may be other things going on that she may not feel comfortable talking about, like certain pressures with life and adulthood, and
old traumas came up.
Something may have come up recently that can literally emotionally distract someone. You know what I'm saying? Like, emotional distraction is a real thing. And sometimes she might be like, no, I can't burden you with that. I'm gonna try to work it out myself. And it's something that is so, and when you find out what it is, you're like, holy shit, why didn't you tell me about this? We could have talked this out. But she just wanted to work it out herself. You know what I'm saying? I've heard about that too. I've heard about these things that some people just carry with them and just don't know how to articulate it. But it leaks into other aspects of their life, and with anxiety and tension and living in their head, and they know themselves, like, wait a minute, I was normal 5 years ago. What happened? And like, oh, I remember, I heard this, I went through this. Someone told me something that totally messed up my perspective of myself, and I haven't been able to reconcile with it. And you'd be surprised at how people can live in their own head so much that it can affect them physically. So hopefully, I would think the goal would be to help her articulate her perspectives on everything, because I'm only getting hints from dude, really.
No.
But then again, he's only one writing, so she, we can only speculate. That wouldn't be fair either. But I mean, that's what it sounds like through this.
For 2 years, it's been
they dated for 2 years before they've gotten married.
They dated for 2 years.
They dated for 2 years.
Got married. And they've been married 2 years of the marriage.
They've been married for about 7-8 years, and he said about 2 years into the marriage.
Oh, hold on. Well, okay.
About 2 years into the marriage is when he started seeing the decline.
Okay, hold on. Things change a little bit now. So he got 5 years in. He got 5 years in of it. Close being to 5 years in this space. Oh, no. Bruh, listen.
Elgin about to tell this nigga hit the streets.
Bro, I'm not saying hit the streets, because I still don't believe hitting the streets is the option. But I do believe at this point in time that it's time for you to have a different conversation. It is time for you at 5 years, if you have done everything that you possibly can to make sure that you and her are on the same page. I am of the mindset of bringing this to the table, saying, hey, babe, listen, if we can't move to this direction, I got to move in that direction. I'm not telling you to give her that I'm going to leave or you threaten her. There is a moment in time where every person gets to their fed up space. 5 years is a long doggone time to be in a space with somebody, and you are constantly, we're not even talking about the lack of intimacy. We're talking about the work that goes into getting it.
Yeah.
Bruh, listen, if you've never been in a relationship with somebody where you are always the one initiating, you are always the one that is lighting the torch, bruh, listen, after a while, you know what starts to happen? Man, that torch better light itself. Yeah. Because if not, bruh, I'm gonna get somebody else to blow this candle out.
Yeah.
That's the danger of that 5 year part. Like, bro, at this point in time, you're gonna have to sit down and have that hard conversation with her and be like, listen, I didn't give you 5 years of it being like this. If you can't make a move, then I got to do something else. Either we got to open this thing up, you got to do something, because you have to acknowledge that you haven't been able to meet my needs that I clearly articulated to you that I have. Like if I've come to you and say that I have these needs and you haven't met those needs, you got to give me a reason why you are not able to meet those needs in order for me to stay in that position. So we got to come to some understanding. Okay, I got some trauma that I haven't been working through. I know I've been doing this. I'm going to have to go get this taken care of. I want to be with you. It has to be something. You cannot just leave me in the dark for me to try to work to get this thing from you and to try to figure out why I'm not getting it. Oh no, bro. Listen, at some point in time, man.
Would it make sense? Because one of the comments that was made in the chat was, that's just, and this is from a much older gentleman. Well, I won't say much older. He's 50. He's like 56, 57. And he said that's just how marriage is. He's been married probably longer than the only person that comes close.
Well, that's how that motherfucker's marriage is.
Well, he said that's how marriage is. Like, you know, you buy the cow after a while, and the older the cow, like this was the example he did. Like, the older the cow gets, you know, the milk don't come as easily as it used to, right? And he's like, it just is what it is. Like, you ask your uncles. He's like, you ask your uncles, you ask your dad, they'll tell you the same thing, that's how life was. So I'm going to ask you to find a question. I think I already got Elgin's answer, but I'm going to make sure so I can get Krush on the record. Is it possible to say that you are in a loving and fulfilling relationship or marriage, I will say specifically, and there is no sexual expectations or sex life?
Yeah.
You can say that you can be in a fulfilling marriage without a sex life? I'm leaning towards no, especially if you put so much importance on it.
No. There
I know people can do it.
There are different levels. There are different levels to that, but it has to exist. You know what I'm saying? It has to exist. You know, it's not going to be the same for everybody and things like that. Of course, there's no, but there has to be, that connection has to exist.
And I'm not even thinking about the sexual part. Like that's a smaller piece to this. Like that's the ultimate goal. But it's the exhaustion that comes in to trying to get your needs met and understanding why the other person is not meeting your needs. Yeah, I can't be in that battle for myself and be horny at the same time. Like come on, man.
You're creating a monster.
What type of monster you creating here? Like that's the logic ain't logicking, my man.
Yeah, I dig it 100%, bro. I dig it 100%. But I guess.
But the streets ain't the answer, my guy. The streets ain't the answer, man.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
You're introducing a whole nother monster into your dynamic, bro. Don't do that.
Hold on. We got to clarify this before we move on to the real. If the streets ain't the answer, then what is the answer? Because ultimately, it seems like he's being pushed to the streets.
No. We can't say that his wife is pushing him to cheat. That's
okay. Pushing him to look elsewhere for intimacy.
Oh God!
I mean,
bro, if you try to get canceled, I can help you. Let me go close the door, and we can just go ahead and go full red pill on this.
I'm asking the question because I'm asking the questions because if we're to believe what he's saying, bro, like
Kevin
ultimately,
like on this joint
if you're not getting it from here, you literally just said somebody else is gonna blow out the candle. Like, come on, dog. Like, let's
yeah. But no. Again, I understand what you're saying. You're not saying that his wife is pushing him to cheat and that she has some responsibility in him cheating. We're looking at the full context of the situation. What is the ultimate solution here? I don't think it's one of those situations where there is just, hey, check A, check B type of spot. It is a culmination of what have you tried, what are you willing to try, and how long are you willing to continue to do those things? That's answers that he has to figure out.
Yeah. Right about that. All right, you guys, you know what time.
And hold on, I need to see a picture of her, and I need to see a picture of him because, bro,
wait, pause. Why you need to see a picture of him? Like, what's going on?
I can look at a man and tell.
I mean, so I'm saying
that's
what I'm saying. Like we need a clear alignment of perspectives here.
It could be that.
Hold up.
Perspective is everything, sir.
No. I want to make this
everything, sir.
You see, every time I try to get out, you guys keep dragging me back in. Okay, I want to make sure I'm understanding what you both are saying. Are you saying that I'm just going to give you an example. If he is a 5, okay, and she is an 8, you're telling him your answer is going to change. You're like, my nigga, just take that L to keep it pushing.
Yeah, just take that L. Yes. No. I am telling you, my guy,
the both of you are ruthless. Ruthless motherfuckers.
If he started out as an 8 and he has slipped down to a 5 and she has maintained her 8. All right. Okay. All right.
You sound sexist and wild right now. Okay.
How's that sexist to say that physical appearance
why
matters?
No. Listen, you're saying essentially that she
may not want him because he's ugly. Yes,
but
I'm saying that.
Tangentially, you are saying that she is justified in not giving him any if he slipped from an 8 to a 5. It's like, oh well, my guy, you just gonna have to take this L because you used to be. Man, you see what I'm saying? This thing is sexist. You would never apply that same type of logic to a woman ever.
Hold, time out. Yes, I would. I tell you
See,
what.
don't say anymore because we've already canceled ourselves enough today in this fucking episode before Elgin started getting this into some real shit.
No. That's just being dishonest. And I think if a woman was here, she would also agree that if a man that she is dating or involved with is no longer getting a haircut, if he's no longer shaving and he's letting himself go, he's doing all those things, that she's not going to find him physically attractive. And she would say the same thing. If she was rocking the old...
No, she wouldn't. No woman in her right... No woman that I'm familiar with would ever say yes.
I was going to say actual
wife. No, listen, stop.
You're not talking.
No woman I know would say, because I'm deteriorating, and I'm using that word intentionally, because I'm deteriorating in appearance, that gives you justification not to love me accordingly.
No.
Love me in my current space.
No, I didn't say
that's part of the problem.
I didn't
you
say
keep
love.
applying these double standards, Elgin, and it's not going to work here, okay? It's not going to work.
Literally pushing the goalpost the other way. I didn't say love. I said he's not giving you no back shots anymore because you got 3 now. I'm saying that.
That's
what I'm saying.
Okay, my bad. You know what? That is a very good and clear distinction. I apologize.
Okay, all right. Just making sure that we're on the same page.
So I want America to understand that Elgin said, if you getting fat, you get no back shots. If you're not cleaned up, you're not getting no back shots. That's basically what he just said now. That's basically what he just said. So go work on yourselves, ladies. Go work on yourselves, ladies,
Bailey,
and then you earn those back shots.
Come to listen. They can get back shots too. So I'm just saying, your man might not have a BBW kink. He might like them rail thin. I don't know. That's something that y'all to. He might like them flat back like Karen or thick like old Oprah. I don't know what you were looking for.
You see?
Then the pictures might be irrelevant. So
you know what?
At this point in time, I don't know what
might be irrelevant.
This is why I stopped.
What is she like? What is she into? What is she? Have you talked about what she's enjoying?
We cannot escape the fact that Elgin just said, "If you ugly, you get no back shots." I'm just saying. Dude, doubly clear on the record.
Dude might have slipped in those first 2 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like listen, he might have got comfortable.
He might have slipped.
Okay,
it happens.
Right, I hear you guys.
Planet Fitness is $10 a month for the first 3 months, brother.
And she might be dealing with his cousin.
Don't do that, Krush. Stop.
Hey, listen, a rose is just a rose, my guy.
Look, you know what tells me that
what type of rose you talking about?
That rose.
He sounds
that one.
See, there are hints of arrogance in the letter. There are hints of arrogance that tells me that he may not catch his cousin doing what she needs done.
You know what? We're gonna move on, bro. All right, you guys know what time it is. This is the In the Black podcast. In case you weren't aware, this is a podcast dedicated to covering the current events and social issues going on in your black world and covering it all from the perspective of 3 grown-ass men who try not to get canceled on a weekly basis. I am your host, Big O, Mr. In the Black himself, but you know I can never do this alone. Let me introduce the rest of my council. Krush, say what's up.
Peace and blessings to the universe.
No doubt. L, say what's up, man.
You.
Yeah, no doubt. If you're checking this out on YouTube, because I hope you would be checking this out on YouTube, make sure that you finesse that thumbs up button. It goes a long way. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let us know what your thoughts are on what we've been running our mouths about. And of course, please consider subscribing. And if you really want to become part of the family, you can always come on over to our Patreon page where you can get the behind the scenes content. We promise you will not regret it. I have been sick, literally sick as a dog from last Tuesday. I had walking pneumonia and bronchitis. And I literally, New Year's Eve, I shouldn't have. I went to a crossover service, but New Year's Day, Friday after, don't do it. You know how I feel about that. But it was my wife and kids wanted to go, so I made sure that I was present. So New Year's Day, the day after New Year's, that Saturday, I literally did nothing but lay in the bed and cough at least a quarter of my lungs away, bro. Like I was done. I was done. I ended up going to urgent care like the third or fourth day, and they were like, bro, you should have been in here how many days ago, bro? You got walking pneumonia. Like, what's wrong with you? You should have been here. So it's a whole thing, bro. It was a whole thing. But I'm glad in the new year that I see your bright, light-skinned faces. I can't say thank you enough. This year would not have started well enough without being able to see you guys in it. Now, while we were away, though, unless you've been living under a rock, a whole bunch of shit has been happening, bro. The United States has been on one. We invaded Venezuela, for lack of a better description, went off and kidnapped their fucking president, brought him over here to stand trial for drug trafficking and drug peddling and some more shit. And now we're over here talking about going into Cuba, going into Iran again, just really
Greenland.
Yeah, thank you. Also,
will not let that shit go.
Taking Greenland from its people. But in any event, a lot has been happening, and we need to dive into it. Now, one of the things that Elgin sent me a video clip, and is essentially about the power structure and how some folks at least, and this is like the third or fourth time I've seen this dude. He's always telling the truth. I don't even know what the guy's name is, to be honest, to be very fair. But every time I see him, his voice has been the same. And he talks about what it looks like in the power structure and what the full intent of the United States is. Let's take a quick look at that, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
You cannot believe how much misinformation we get every single day, because I have advised more than 100 governments around the world. I have seen things with my own eyes. I've seen US CIA coups with my own eyes. Governments lie, but superpowers make super lies. And if you're running the largest war machine in the world, hey, you are going to lie all the time. The entire Iraq war was not because they thought there were weapons of mass destruction. Weapons of mass destruction was the outcome of a focus group inside the Pentagon. How are we going to sell this war to the American people? Who made the decision 2 days ago that ATACMS can shoot deep inside Russia? Another brilliant move. We don't even know if the president of the United States is compos mentis right now. We have a deep state that takes these decisions, not a word of explanation to the American people. It's all lies. And I've seen it all through my life because I've been advisors to prime ministers and to presidents and to central bank governors and to some of the wonderful people on this panel. And I've seen a lot.
Like I said, the United States went into Venezuela. They launched a military operation that helped them to extract, or most people would say kidnap, the sitting president of Venezuela, Nicholas Maduro. Now, everyone who knows about Venezuela and about Nicolas Maduro, even on the surface level, knows that Maduro is a piece of shit. But two things can be true at the same time. You can be a piece of shit and also not need to invade a country for whatever said
country.
A sovereign country for whatever purposes you think that you need to invade them for. The United States, if you remember from the very beginning, they were like, oh, we're bombing these drug boats because it's about drug trafficking. But when you look at the actual statistics, Venezuela has no real impact on drugs in our hemisphere like that anyway. There are much, 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 much bigger players than Venezuela in this equation. Then they said it's because he's a bad guy, he's a dictator, and he's been there too long. There are other dictators around the world that United States has not visited. There's one that's not too far away that Trump actually met how many months ago, literally laid out a red carpet for to go meet him. We've had dictators as of recently, piece of shit people come to the White House and then ultimately become friends of the United States. So that's number two. Number three, the story behind why the United States has changed so often that it really makes me come to the conclusion, honestly, that this whole initiative is one of two things. Either it's haphazard, they have a plan, but they're not following the plan, or two, they really just don't give a fuck. If you look at what happened when we went into Iraq, they took literally a year plus to sell the United States on why we were going into Iraq. They said it's the WMDs. He's been using these WMDs on his own people. He's ultimately going to use it on us, him being Saddam Hussein. He's ultimately going to use it against us, and we need to do all that we can to prevent him from not only using the WMDs, but also because, and at the time, that he's connected to, quote unquote, to the reason why we had the 9/11 plane attacks. A year plus before the president now went to Congress and said, yeah, we need to go ahead and put boots on the ground in Iraq. This administration at this point has changed the narrative so many different times. They have not given us a clear reason for it. We ultimately know or believe that it's about the oil. Most people who are paying attention believe that it's about the oil, if not anything else. It's just a very, I don't even know how to call it, because a lot of things have been happening. A lot of moving pieces have been shuffling across the board, and there have been people making a bunch of comments that would lead me to believe that this is the direction the United States is going to go in for the foreseeable future, for at least the next remaining 3 years of this dude's presidency. But L, because you brought this on the table, I want you to go ahead and jump in, bro. Go ahead.
I think what we are witnessing is a clear external demonstration of the imperialist nature of the United States. Not only are we witnessing that through the government component, but what we are also witnessing in American streets and American homes is a crisis that we don't spend enough time talking about, and that's the anti-intellectual component. People just not having a clear understanding of what is taking place and a lack of knowledge, and also just how heavily propagandized that we are as a people in this country. When the news broke from what took place, this horrible crime that took place from the United States against Venezuela, the wording, the way it was phrased from some of you Negroes' favorite news media outlets, CNN, The Post, Fox News, they all had the same wording, that he was captured. Not that he was kidnapped, captured. And using captured is an intentional thing, because if you say captured, that implies that he actually was responsible for doing something wrong. And again, I don't even like using the phrase that Maduro was a piece of shit, because I don't care. That's not the point here. When we're not looking to describe and talk about Maduro. We're looking to talk about how the United States put on a deliberate attack. We only saw the capture. We only saw the bombing. We didn't see the CIA's involvement early on. We didn't see how special forces was already on the ground. We didn't see how they were putting other politicians in place. The Nobel Prize winning weirdo woman to possibly take Maduro's place, who now is nowhere to be found because Trump said, "Nah, Trick, we're not using you.
We not running with you." Yeah,
but that's what I want to understand. This is not just while this is one of the bigger and brighter moments of United States imperialism. This is who we've been. And I think that's the part that I want people to begin to understand. We say here all the time, Trump is the monster that is driving this imperialist train. But baby, every 4 to 8, a new conductor.
Another conductor's going to come on to jump. Another conductor's going to come on.
Oh, yeah, we've been seeing the auditions. We've been seeing the auditions.
Yeah.
Did you guys, real quick before we jump back into it, did you guys hear that they had kind of, sort of, well, I mean, that's not kind of, sort of, there have been reports that there was a succession plan in place for how they could make this whole Trump thing a
30-year dynasty. Yeah,
30-year dynasty, and how Charlie Kirk being killed was threw all of that into,
and they swapping out him for JD Vance. Yeah, no,
because it was supposed to be JD Vance and Kirk,
but I don't think they have anybody else in mind.
Well, now they said that they're going to work on they're going to work on Rubio. So it would be Rubio. It would be Vance and Rubio. That's the conversations that are being had.
Their planning skills. I think they need to, a little rough around the edges. They could use a PNP.
they could use a project manager right now because they're not following shit.
The way they're handling stuff, it's hard to call them the great adversary. It's really hard. I'm not very impressed with these supreme activities. I'm not very impressed.
Yeah. I think one of the things that's the most interesting, like Elle was alluding to, is just the response that the international community has had as of late because of this. Initially, they were like, many of them were like, yeah, we're happy that Maduro's been taken out because
I keep hearing that too, but there seems to be a caveat with everyone's statement.
So it's like everyone has a caveat. Hey, we're happy that he's been taken out, but he was a dictator. And it was
they have like 3 or 4 buts after that,
and that the mission was successful. But the problem has become the more that Trump has been pushing this thing on Greenland, it's the caveats start to move away, because we have to remember Denmark and Greenland and the ownership between the two and what that looks like. This is a repeat. Europeans are like, we are going through the beginning stages of World War II all over again. This is how they started to push their way into Europe. This is how Nazi Germany became a thing. And with Trump saying, well, not Trump, Stephen Miller was just on CNN or Fox the other day, and he said, in no uncertain terms, might makes right. So I'm strong enough to come into your country and capture your president and bring him here on some bogus made-up sedition about drug trafficking. I'm going to be strong enough to put boots on the ground in Greenland and kill your 50, 70, whatever many thousand civilians, because we want the resources that are there as well. That's how it started. That's how Nazi Germany got its birth. And Europe as a whole is starting to shake in its boots, because it's like, hold up. It was all fun and games when it was just Maduro. It was all fun and games when you were just going to El Salvador. It was all fun and games when you were going into West African countries and doing whatever the fuck you were doing. But you're not going to come into our modernized, westernized countries and do the same thing.
I don't know.
And guess what?
I was just out there. I was just out there in Europe. I wouldn't exactly call it modernized.
I dig it, but
it's just very white.
Well,
white does not mean modern. Okay?
But they're going to tell you in comparison to those Africans,
but
or those Asian people or whatever.
And that's the part that he is setting up this Monroe Doctrine all over again.
Yeah.
This is colonialism taking place all over again.
Neo-colonialist
And I
bullshit.
think all of it. And I think that's the part that I really want people to understand. When we say it is just about oil, that is an oversimplification of the issue. That is an oversimplification of what is taking place. Yes, it is about the oil, but it is also about them exercising their power and their might and extending this type of capitalism across in other countries. It is, and I think this is where the anti-intellectual part come in, and the fact that this is the first time people ever heard the word imperialism, like unpacking that and getting an understanding of what is taking place.
Yeah,
I think that is the part
that's the first time they've heard it.
This is the first time you heard it, and I think we
sovereign
who are a little bit
word.
more knowledgeable, we have to slow down just a little bit and be really in a space of when you're making that post on social media about this, who are you intended to communicate this to? Are you intended to communicate to people that you believe already understand? I'm here to tell you, most people don't understand. This is the first time that they are hearing imperialism taking place because it's connected to Donald Trump. So that's one of the great things, the small great things about him being in the office, is because he highlights all of the bullshit that America has been doing since its inception. Now people are beginning to say, oh, damn, okay, Obama had a role in this. The Bushes had a role in this. So it goes beyond that, while again, he is the conductor of this current train. This train is going to run regardless who is in the damn cockpit. And I think that's the part that I really want people to understand is like, yo, this is nefarious. Even when people were on social media, the liberals are like, well, what do the people of Venezuela say? Right? What are the Venezuelans saying? Because then we had pictures of people down in Miami and other sections of the country.
That you know what? That was part of the problem, and it goes back to what you said about not just imperialism, but the imperialist propaganda that the United States uses to try and push this message out. Because initially it was like, yeah, Maduro was captured. He was kidnapped. There's Venezuelan people that are excited, and then you come to find out when you do at least a little bit of surface research, you find some of the things that they've been showing, the videotapes, the clips, and stuff like that. Those weren't even from the streets of Venezuela. They were either from folks in Miami, or they used old footage from like soccer games and some other shit to push this narrative forward that these were folks that are actually happy. Only to find out, not even a week, but a couple of days later, people are like, yeah, we thought Maduro was a piece of shit. But you coming into my country, niggas are scared. You about to talk
and not
about
only that, but you're the same Venezuelan people who voted for Trump. Like you're the same group of Republican Venezuelans.
Who
and they're not a monolith.
Who are you asking the Venezuelan people to trust?
Yeah.
Who are you assuming the Venezuelan people should be trusting?
Agree.
I mean,
you don't even have all black people in this country agreeing.
Overflowing.
But you assume that the Venezuelan people are all agreeing that this is the right thing. No, that's not how it works. That's not how things work, my man.
Way too many presumptions. Way too many presumptions.
But hold on. This is the thing that got me. I think it's the arrogance of many people in Western media, the United States specifically, that was like, well, we liberated Venezuela from a dictator. And then you think to yourself, or you watch some of the protests, people out in the street talking about, yeah, we didn't like Maduro, but we don't want American boots on the ground in here controlling shit either. To think that because you had quote unquote some moral high ground that you can then come into someone else's country and control things, and not just control things, but control things to your benefit, not to their benefit. I know motherfuckers. How many cases have we seen on TV over the past how many years about stand your ground? That you're not even gonna come into my house and threaten me, and I don't have the wherewithal or the ability to protect myself. Talk less of you invading a whole country.
Yeah. And again,
people would be happy about that shit. That sounds crazy.
The other part that we are beginning to see more and more of, and is wildly difficult for them to talk about, is the service members of the United States military who are sitting back like, all right now.
One of my homeboys, he said he's getting his sea bag ready already, bro. He said,
but you understand what I'm saying? Like,
I feel it in my
you're
gut.
putting them in a real difficult situation. So if you are a family member of a service member and you see this taking place,
all you can think
and listen,
of is you getting ready.
Let's keep it a buck. The United States has not had great success when they put boots on the ground in other people's countries here lately. Shit ain't working out the way that we thought it was working. We can go back.
It would be.
Not the way they
preached it would be, bro.
Bro, listen, man. Like, so we are bombing these countries, and then we're going to send our service members in there for some fuck shit. Like,
I mean, I honestly, we have to like really. I don't want to say dissect it necessarily, but I want people to understand the absurdity of it, right? You think that you would allow someone to come into your home because they think that you're not running your home. You're not running your home the way you're supposed to be running it because you're probably an abusive father or whatever the case is. They deserve not only to come into your home, remove you, but then to govern your home, to rule over your home. That the absurd, like they said that,
but not even talk about how the United States contributed to the destruction
to the destruction of Venezuela in the first place. It brought all of this, bro. You know. Okay, so they said they used an EMP to block out like blocks and blocks.
So
and that disabled the safe room features of where this dude was going to be able to go. And as they're bombing everywhere in Caracas, and then they killed, I think, 70, 75 people on the way to try and capture this dude.
To bring him to our country to stand trial our laws. Like, how arrogant is that?
My God, it blows my mind, dog. It blows my mind. And at no point,
arrogance is like cocaine for them.
Listen, we spent 20 plus years in the Middle East because we thought that people came over here to attack us, 9/11.
Yeah.
We see the response that we thought we needed to keep folks from coming into our home and destroying our home. And it blows my mind to think that there are people that are justifying us going into somebody else's home to destroy their home, regardless of where you think
as if the concept of retaliation
doesn't
exist for us. You
as if the response of retaliation and violence is not an option.
Venezuelans have every right. That's why, like, when you say, "Oh, Europe is quaking in their boots," okay, there's fear, there's annoyance, and then there's anger.
Bro, listen.
What stage do you think they're at now?
Very different things.
What stage do you think they're at now?
Annoyance, because they know the truth. They look at that man, they see the truth. Like, okay, who has enough money for this idiot? Who is going to stroke his dick in public? Who's going to do it? England? Ireland? No, I'm not going to do it. No, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it.
America's friend list is shrinking.
Yeah,
like, folks is blocking it.
So what's the next step? Like, no, I'm not going to stroke his dick in public. I'm not going to fillet the man in public. I won't do it. They're not going to do it. We're not going to do it.
I hope from your mouth to God's ears, bro, that somebody figures something out, but I don't see it moving in the right direction anytime soon.
I don't see it.
I don't see it happening anytime soon, bro. At
you
all.
Mentioned God. JD Vance gets up on the stage and invokes every possible ounce of white Christian nationalism that he possibly can bring into this space.
I don't know. I don't know.
But I have not seen enough of. I have not seen enough of white Trump voters come out and openly denounce and say, you know what, I shouldn't have voted for my man. I voted thinking that he was going, give us a couple of dollars to fix the economy. I was on some white shit. I haven't seen anybody come out and denounce this dude. I don't know where y'all hiding, high, low, hiding, high. But even if you ain't come out publicly, I'm assuming that you are still supporting him.
Yeah.
I don't know what state Christianity thinks it's going to be in 3 years later.
Well, like I said, it's
money, power, respect. All I need in life.
Yeah. But we're going just to segue. That's a very good segue because we're talking about how folks are supporting things, this initiative for white Christian nationalism, and how America has been on code. Unless you've been living under a rock, you know that recently there was a killing in Minneapolis, Minnesota. A young woman, 37-year-old woman by the name of Renee Nicole Good, was shot by a ICE agent. And 3 shots to the head as she was attempting to drive away from the agents. We're not here necessarily to have a conversation about the legality of what happened, because there are a lot of things in America that were legal that were morally irreprehensible. But what we are going to talk about, or at least what I would like to talk about, is the position that so many people have taken as they've been watching this play out. I cannot understate the same type of tactics that we are watching play out in these streets with ICE agents, DHS, all of these agencies are the same tactics that Nazi Germany used in the lead up to the rise of the Third Reich. If you look online, you will see there are ads for ICE agents recruiting people to come and be part of ICE. They use phrasing like defend your culture, defend the motherland. That is literally straight from Nazi Germany propaganda. Verteidigt das Vaterland is what you would put on flyers and send out into the community, quite literally to pull in people to fight and to be SS soldiers. And we are watching it in real time. Earlier, I said that Stephen Miller on one of these news networks said that might makes right. We are watching that play out in real time every single day with all of these ICE interactions. That might makes right. And if we thought, because I was naive to think that if one of these poor lily white women or kids gets killed by an ICE agent, then maybe that might change the conversation. Nah, bro, I was wrong. They were on message, on point, on code. They quickly called her a domestic terrorist, called her a leftist loon, said she was a goofy lesbian, all of these different things. All of the things to villainize this woman.
Sure. And no white man came out to defend her. None of the white men who were there defended her. No one of the white men stood up for her and treated her like she was a princess.
Bro.
Nobody did that. No, because you know why? White men are just as scared of white women as they are of everybody else, because they know white women are closer to them and are protecting and keeping their motherfucking secrets. They don't value white women either. So this idea that somehow, some way, because a white woman was killed on video for millions of people to see, that somehow it was going to change the way things were done. I am seeing many people come to the same space that you are. Like, damn, I thought if it happened to a white person, that things would change. Like, player.
It's easy to forget.
They don't give a fuck about them either.
Yeah, it's easy to forget that for white supremacy, white women are the most prized and used possession.
Yeah, in both ways. Yeah, clearly in both have
most prized and most used.
Yep. Yeah. I can see it.
But again, then we see the young brother Porter. Like, it's the moment after a white woman is killed, a brother is experiencing the same thing. So we find ourselves in the same potential. And I am in a space now where, like, yo, we're seeing the news, we're getting inundated. There is very few safe media platforms where you're actually going to get the unadulterated events that are taking place. All of your favorites are being hijacked intentionally. And if they're not being hijacked, new platforms are being created, i.e. Stephen A. Smith's bullshit political podcast, where he's getting fucking $40 million a year to host and spout off some of this idiotic stuff. If it's not on your mainstream, they're creating new streams. So where are you getting your information from nowadays? Because it's all polluted, my man. It's all polluted. Your podcasts are polluted. Everything is polluted. And you are not reading for yourself. So of course you're finding yourself susceptible to the most dangerous and mighty propaganda machine that we have ever seen before in history. So of course you're falling victim to these ideas and these notions. Of course you're believing that the U.S. is only going over there to help these poor people out, and Maduro was the devil. Of course, because we didn't hear the same thing about Chavez. We didn't hear the same thing about Hussein. We didn't hear the same thing about Mao. We didn't hear the same thing about all these other ones beforehand. It's rinse and repeat. It's the same thing, man.
It's rinse and repeat. It is rinse and repeat. And at the same time, like,
people fell for it then too. They're falling for it again.
And what makes this situation more breathtaking is the fact that while all of this is happening on our streets and internationally, you've got China and Russia sitting there waiting in the background. Birdman hands rubbing together, talking about like real talk. It's like, so what voice you want to take? You are beating people up in your streets, killing your own citizens. What voice do you have to come and tell me not to do the same shit in my country? What voice do you have to tell me not to go and invade Ukraine? What voice do you have to tell me not to go into Taiwan and take Taiwan back? You don't have a voice anymore. You don't have a voice.
It's like, it's literally like a pimp going into another pimp's house and taking their hose. It's literally, and all Russia and China are waiting for you to do is to try to take their bottom bitch. If you try to take their bottom bitch, now we go to war. Because what we don't want to talk about is how Venezuela was their largest oil exporters in the world. And who were they exporting a lot of their oil to?
To China and to Russia.
China.
And that's one of the reasons why the United States grabbed a couple of those damn tankers on the way out there. Was like, nah, we're gonna seize them.
Yeah, and that's why we keep saying it's about the oil, but bruh, it is so much more about that. They are trying to flex, and we are not in a position where we want to be flexing with those two countries in particular.
Okay, let's wipe that clean, because I want us to go back to this whole ICE thing. What we have been seeing again has been protests.
Sure.
I'm gonna show this quick clip, and then I want us to have a conversation of whether or not you guys believe that we are moving in a different direction as a country with all of the things that have been happening. Here we
go. Why did you feel compelled to be here today?
I came up here in 2020 after George Floyd was murdered, after I watched that video. And on Wednesday, I got word that Renee Nicole Good was murdered in cold blood. And I made the decision right then and there that I was going to come up here one way or another. They fired the first shot. I'm not calling for peace anymore. I don't care what Fox News says. I don't care what that woman in the press room says. I'm not calling for peace. They fired the first shot. We have the Second Amendment for a reason. It's time for people to come back here with weapons and show these people that we're equals.
I can just feel the emotion coming off of you right now. You've been wearing
you feel the emotion
today, as I've seen you like have some interactions with other protesters here. Describe to me some of those emotions that you're feeling right now.
I'm angry. We knew this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen the minute they called the election in 2024. That's why what I did right when I knew the election was going to go the way it did, that's why I went and I bought my first gun. I used to hate guns. I used to think that it was insane that we have more guns than people in this country. And in reality, I still do think that it's insane that we have more guns than people. But if we've got people like these guys out here just terrorizing people, kicking in doors with no warrants, kidnapping people with no cause, and murdering people for trying to flee and for obeying a command to leave the area, and then shooting her in the face like that after she drops her kid off at school, there's We have to show up with guns. We have to. There's
I want
no
you to
other
listen
way
to this
around
next
it. I don't care if I don't have a Minnesota carry permit. I'm unarmed right now, but this is the last time I show up to face these guys without a weapon. There's no way. I got shot with a pepper ball 5 minutes after walking in here. I never laid a finger on them. I never raised a hand to them. I've only been using my voice. The time for speaking is over. The time for niceties is over. The time for peace is over. They fired the first shot. It is time to end this shit by any means necessary.
Next, watch this.
I mean, you're talking about, potentially going to a dark place in this country. Do you foresee
We're there. This is the dark place. This is the dark time. We have people being sent to Salvadorian concentration camps. We got other countries being raided for their oil. We're in the dark time. There's no way out of this. There's no voting our way out of this. We can't wait till November. There's no waiting to the ballot box. We need to get to the bullet box.
So I wanted to make sure I played that as much as possible so you get the context of where I'm coming from. We are watching folks in real time, especially now after the killing of Renee Good, start to realize that, goddamn, it ain't just the black people. Black people have been screaming for a long time that there's been state-sanctioned killings of people for a very, very long time. And now it's showing up in these people's neighborhoods. I think one of the things that people mistook when all this happened was that she was going to get justice immediately. I know there was a bunch of people that said that. Not too far in Minnesota, if you remember, there was a Somali police officer that shot a white woman, and they threw that nigga under the bus within months. Put him under the jail. And she wasn't even an American citizen. And here we are, how many years after the fact, and this young lady gets killed. And folks, you would swear up and down the way they've painted this picture of her that she was Antifa,
or dissident,
or something. Anyway, with all that being said, as we're watching these things take place in these streets, do you believe that what this young man is saying is picking up steam and that there'll be more people that will be doing or saying the same things? Or you think this is just anecdotal and that this guy is just a one-off?
It's a possibility.
I think the rhetoric has already been there. I think that's been something that has been out there. I think what you're going to begin to see is you're going to be seeing more news outlets putting these types of people in front of the microphone, right? And they're going to get more and more steam. And I think that is wildly dangerous. While I agree and understand this gentleman's frustration and his ideology, he's not a part of any organization, because no organization, community organization, is going to allow one of their members to go out and do that. Why? Yeah. Because our community, specifically the black community, is in no position
to do that,
to begin to protect themselves on the level that would be needed to protect themselves from the type of violence that the American government would be ready
would
to
unleash in the event that something like that happened.
We're not organized enough to do what is necessary to protect. I'm not saying we're building it. I'm not saying that we're not. What I'm saying is, at this moment, while that feeling is thriving and growing in our community, before Renee was killed, right? We've seen it. We saw the brothers in Columbia, Ohio, who were taking over their community. We see the Black Panther Party right now having a resurgence here in Philly, who are taking it. We're seeing it. But what my community organizers and other folks like me have been telling them, get your ass off the camera. Stop recording it. Stop doing those things. Do not give a bigger target for you. You don't need to be on Instagram in order to community organize and to get your people galvanized. Do not do it there. Because, my man, you're just putting yourself in a dark spot. But to answer your question, I think that we're seeing more of this. I think we're seeing more of it bubbling up. But I want us to begin to use more revolutionary wisdom and radical wisdom in these moments, to not be moved by emotion, to begin to spit those things on a live mic for millions of people to begin to see. You're not in that position, my guy, to put yourself in that spot.
I don't know how he presents him. He looks Latino, but I don't know how he represents or how he presents himself.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think that I've been looking for, and we've had this conversation briefly on the show as well. I've been looking for those "don't tread on me," battle tyranny motherfuckers for the longest time. Once this dude got into
quiet as a mouse,
they've been quiet as a mouse fart,
or very selective with their statements.
Exactly.
Very selective.
So seeing this dude, like I said, seeing this dude, I don't know how he represents or how he presents himself or whatever, but my hope, and it's a very small hope, but my hope is more white men who follow that mindset would be willing to stand up and do something, because until they're willing to sacrifice themselves or to stand and hold the country accountable for their actions, none of us can do anything. Like you said,
we don't need allies.
We don't
allies
have the resources or the numbers at this point to do anything even close to that.
Yeah, we don't need allies. We got allies for days. We need
John Browns, my guy. We need accomplices. We need
who are willing to sacrifice themselves. And I have said it loud. I am in a position where I do not trust anything that a white liberal, white ally, progressive says out their mouth. I don't give a fuck about how many anti-racist books they read, how many anti-capitalism books they read. Until you are not going back into your friend zone, your family dynamic, and being radical there, I ain't got nothing
for you.
You can't stand with me.
I mean, as a matter of fact, I'll keep it simple. I don't trust any talky, and quote unquote anti-racist person who has to be on camera 12 hours a day. No. You're not doing the work, sir. You're being too talky.
What they do is they become knowledgeable about racism and white supremacy and all these things, and stop hanging out with their white racist family and friends, and go and start hanging out with the black and brown folks, because that's their people now. Nah, Sue, nah, Tom, I need you to go back over there to your people,
go back into
and be a radical over there.
Go back into the community and do the good work.
Go back and
do the good work over there and do the good work.
We don't need your good work over here.
Don't perform over here.
Yeah.
John Brown was going out and shooting white folks. What John Brown was doing, he was shooting the white folks.
All right, so we've come to the conclusion that we're cooked, right? I think that's fair enough to say that we're cooked, right? At least for the next 3 or 4, for at least the next 3 years, we're cooked.
We are in melee, sir. We are in melee. Okay, we are in melee. We are not cooked. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that one more time, because I'm so tired of everyone saying, "Oh, we're fucked. We're fucked. We're fucked." Do you know we're fucked? You know how fucked we are? We're so fucked. Yo, someone grow a positive spine, please. Grow a fucking spine. All right? We're not cooked yet, nigga. We're still alive. We breathing. We thinking. Go from that point. We're not cooked. We're in melee.
As much as I'm on your side, Krush, it's hard to escape that mentality.
Negative norm.
No, listen. It's hard to escape that mentality when you're talking like
I hear this all day, bro.
And I know you do.
Day.
I know you do.
But
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Krush. If you say you have a positive spine and you're trying to preach that message of,
I'm not trying to preach shit. I'm trying to do shit.
I'm not saying you specifically. I'm just saying that there are circles that are trying to do the work.
All right.
And it's you as an organizer, you as a unit, you as an individual trying to preach that message, trying to build the coalition necessary to let people know that, hey, the end is not here yet. We need to keep going. For every one of you, there's like 3 or 4 other motherfuckers that are saying the opposite. So how do you combat that?
I keep going. I keep going. And I ignore the rest of you. I keep going.
I'm not talking about what you do. I said, how do you combat it? What is your strategy to combat it? Okay.
Laser vision. Because if I listen to you motherfuckers, shit doesn't get done.
Fair enough.
Shit don't get done.
Fair enough. All right. Right about now is the time we'd like to give you little tidbits of news. Excuse me. Tell you those things that we are watching, listening to, and reading. L, what is on your blacklist this week?
Oh shit, what am I reading? Man, I just got a new book, man. And I don't know where the fuck I put it at. Anyway, we'll come back to that next week. What am I watching? I just watched the series finale of Stranger Things. I literally just watched it just to say that I was finished with the series. I'm also watching, I don't know if you ever watched the Courtney B. Vance joint that's on Netflix, 61st Street.
Mm-mm.
Phenomenal. He plays a lawyer who, in the first season, he is trying to get off a young brother who has a promising track career, who gets accused of murdering a white police officer. Courtney B. Vance goes on a crusade to get this brother off. Phenomenal. Very abolitionist in their approach. He's married to a black woman who is a black radical. She's on her fuck the police shit while Courtney B. Vance is trying to work the system. 61st Street is 2 seasons. It's phenomenal.
And you said it's
outside
on
of that,
Netflix.
man, it's on Netflix currently.
Okay.
Michael B. Jordan was responsible for executive producing it. It's actually pretty good, man. That's really all I've been doing here lately. Is really just been laying low, man. Between work, it's after the break in the classroom is, yeah, just trying to just try to hold on, man. Trying to navigate being in education where everybody wants to blame the parents, everybody wants to blame the teachers, everybody wants to blame the kids, and nobody wants to blame the system.
And the people in power ain't doing a goddamn thing, but it is what it is.
Nope, they're doing exactly what's expected. So that's where I've been.
They're reaping the benefits.
Krush, what's on your blacklist?
Well, I just started a book called The 4 Agreements, A Practical Guide to Personal Freedom.
The 4 Agreements?
Yeah, A Practical Guide to Personal Freedom. I'm actually reading that with my wife right now. And in terms of what I'm listening to, right at the moment, I know, it's kind of tough this time of year to say listen to anything new, but I've been catching up on this cat Navy Blue, my man Drew, this kid named McKinley Dixon that everyone's been very excited about for a little while. He put out a really, really dynamic album for a young guy these days, called Magic Alive. When I'm watching, actually, I'm just catching up on HBO Max's Primal. That boy, I mean, after a while, you start recognizing stuff. You're like, wait a minute, oh, wait, you were there, now you're here. Oh,
Jendi Tartovsky, that
He
nigga's
don't
a beast.
He don't give a fuck.
Jendy's a beast.
He's like, yeah, those are Africans. Those are Egyptians.
I
Those are
fuck with Jendy, bro.
I fuck with him. And that one episode that threw me off, in 1890, I was like, wait a minute, you guys are bringing this into a. Okay. Anyway,
like I said,
great. I've been enjoying that. Season 3 just dropped, but they haven't let the episodes loose yet everywhere. But yeah, I've been enjoying Primal, 4 Agreements, and Mr. McKinley Dixon.
Okay, good to go. I got that. I got 4 Agreements. I got that on my list now too. What's on my blacklist this week? Because I've been sick, I really haven't been doing too much in terms of watching and stuff like that. I did jump back into Neil Gaiman's Anansi's Boys, though. I love that fucking book. I love that story. It's just a shame that Neil Gaiman's get well, I won't say it's a shame. If he's out here being a sexual predator, he deserves to be held accountable. But
wait, they're still dealing with him? He's still dealing with him?
Yeah.
Real quick question on that book. Does it keep the African origins of Anansi and his boys in the text?
So it keeps his African origin, and the boys themselves are, for lack of a better description, they are left behind. If you get what I'm saying, they're kids that they've had, that Anansi has had, that he's revisiting. I don't want to give away too much of the book, but it's essentially a telling of re-recognizing or learning who Anansi is through the process. And a son learning who Anansi is, all while Anansi, if you know the story of Anansi, who Anansi is still being Anansi, still being a trickster, still being trying not to be held accountable. All of those things are still present with Anansi. So, like I said, I love the story. I've always loved that book, that story. So, if you get an opportunity, please pick it up.
Awesome story.
I've also been playing. I picked up a game called Dispatch. It is honestly, I love those telltale game type stories. If you're not familiar with it, like those types of games where it's not action based, it's more interactive in terms of storytelling, and this has some of the best writing I've seen in a game in a very, very, very long time. It really plays out like a superhero docu-comedy. Like I don't know how else to describe it, but the writing is so fucking phenomenal that it just released, and the praise has been so profuse for it that they've already greenlit a season 2 for the game, or a game number 2. And there are 9 episodes in the first game where you play a portion of it, and you like, it's really just based on relationships and how you respond and how you interact with the other characters. It's been a thing. But like I said, I've been getting into that, and that's been really, really dope too. Krush, where can folks find you if they want to find you, bro?
Man, find me up on TikTok under ITB Podcast as usual, and of course on Instagram at SB Methods, and on Facebook too.
All right, no doubt. L, where can folks find you?
At Elgin Bailey on all of your mom's favorite platforms. I'm all over there.
And I'm Big O, Mr. In the Black. You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at MR_in the Black. Thank you guys for joining us for another incredible episode of the In the Black podcast. You could have been anywhere else, but you're here with us, and we appreciate you for it. Make sure you follow us across social media at In the Black, PDCST, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of the places. Come on over to our Patreon where you can get behind the scenes content. We promise you, you will not regret it. But until next time, as always, informed, intelligent,
In the Black.
In the Black.
Peace.
Peace.